The first thing Maria Vega noticed on the night of the new moon was the way Sagittarius kept tugging at Jupiter like an impatient child. She sat on the roof of the trailer she rented outside Pahrump, wrapped in a quilt patterned with faded constellations. Her telescope pointed at a slice of black Nevada sky. An April wind carried the smell of creosote and spent diesel from the highway. She should have been cold, but the stars were so lively she barely felt it. For 10 years she'd written Desert Skies, the daily horoscope column tucked into the back pages of the Pahrump Valley Dispatch. Most locals skimmed it while dunking churros in coffee or waiting for their slot-paying aunt to text back. It paid just enough, and more importantly, it let Maria practice the art she'd learned from her tia Karina, who claimed that charts were living things that whispered when you listened. That particular night, the whispers were unusually loud. She took notes. Jupiter and Sagittarius combust with the moon. Mercury square Neptune riding the 12th house cusp. A flare in the 8th harmonic from Uranus. None of it sounded like the usual caution to Pisces, romance for Leo sort of chatter. It sounded like dice rattling, card edges snapping, the low hum of neon. Intriguing, Maria murmured, pushing a pencil behind her ear. Show me more. The sky obliged. She watched until dawn's first smear of salmon, then climbed down, brewed 2 strong coffee, and wrote the next day's column in one breathless stream. Aries, your lucky number today comes in pairs and wants to split at 21. Taurus, avoid tables where the dealer has dimples. Seek wheels that lean left. Gemini, keep your back to the pyramid of light and watch for a female jack. Each sign contained some sly casino reference, delivered more like poetry than direct advice. Maria wasn't sure why she wrote them, only that the heavens were adamant. She emailed the copy to the Dispatch before she could second-guess herself. The column printed on a Thursday. By Saturday, rumors rustled through the 2 nearest casinos, the Crescent Dune and the Silver Comet, like shuffled cards. A trucker named Dale, a proud Aries, supposedly hit blackjack 4 times in a row after doubling, only when his hands came in pairs that summed to 11. A visiting Taurus from Barstow avoided every smiling dealer until he found an indifferent fellow with a crooked tie. He left 3 hours later up 6 grand. A Gemini bachelorette party swore they yoked their luck by sitting so the Luxor's skybeam angled behind them. One bridesmaid hit red 23 twice. Maria, oblivious, cleaned her telescope lenses and watered her succulents. When her editor, Ed Cooper, called Monday morning, she thought he wanted short blurbs for an upcoming eclipse. You got a second? Ed sounded winded, like he'd jogged to the phone, though his office was 20 feet from the bullpen. Sure, she said. Did you, know people started using your column to win? Maria laughed. Win what, Ed? Enlightenment? Money, Vega. Cold hard chips. Crescent Dune just called. Their floors are buzzing about your predictions. He hesitated. Anything we need to be worried about? Are you tipping people off somehow? Ed, I'm an astrologer, not a pit boss. Right. Just keep it fun, okay? Corporate hates headaches. Of course. She hung up smiling, half flattered, half bemused. That night she unfolded new charts, but the planets wouldn't hush. They insisted on describing not only which tables would be hot, but which dealers would bust, which slot rows would tighten, which roulette colors would streak. Maria tried to tone it down, swap subtle winks for specifics, yet the glyphs bewitched her hand. She sent the column. She slept poorly. Across the range of the spring mountains, under chandeliers and flickering LCD banners, the second set of horoscopes proved even sharper. Libras were told to split when the sly fox shows an 8. And 15 Libras reportedly did exactly that at the Silver Comet, all against a single dealer, Bryce Malinowski, who happened to flash 8s that night more often than statistics allowed. Bryce color-changed, paled, and called for a break. Managers reviewed tape, scolded him for sloppy shuffle, reassigned him to Paigao. 3 shifts later, Bryce met 2 other dealers behind the employee parking structure. The Comet's floodlights painted their shadows across cracked asphalt, glittering with broken bottles. The short one, D, lit a menthol. "We can't keep this up," Bryce muttered, feet jittery. "Someone's onto us, the Horoscopes." "Horse shit," D snapped, exhaling blue smoke. "Astrology's carnival trickery." "Maybe," said Marco, the third dealer, voice slow like thawing ice. "But if that column spooks corporate, they'll start digging. And digging leads to numbers. Our number." He meant the card-counting ring they'd nursed for 18 months. Sly signals to favored players, half clumps in shuffles, comped drinks on slow nights. Nothing huge, careful enough to skim but stay under auditing thresholds. Until the newspaper scribblers started predicting their patterns, like she perched inside Marco's own skull. "So we fix it," Marco continued. "Find the writer, shut her up." "Corporate might already silence her," Dee said. "Not fast enough." Bryce swallowed, hearing gravel crunch beyond the fence. "You talking about what exactly?" Marco stared at the sky, where Pahrumph's light pollution barely dulled the Milky Way. "Stars go out all the time," he said. "Maria's next horoscope never printed. At 4 a.m. Tuesday, an error message froze her laptop as she hit send. Outside, her porch motion sensor clicked but showed nothing. When she tried to restart, the screen remained black. She scribbled backups on legal pads, intending to drive them into town. Dawn arrived, peach-colored, but her car, an aging collar, refused to start. Battery fine, fuel gauge half. The engine simply coughed like it had swallowed sand. She borrowed a ride from her neighbor, Mrs. Caldwell, and reached a dispatch just before deadline. Ed waved her into his office. "Someone hacked our email server," he said. "Your attachment came through as gibberish." He massaged his temples. "Did you click anything weird?" "No." "Okay, print me the hard copy. I'll have layout type it in. But Maria, maybe strip the casino stuff this time, yeah? People are jumpy." Maria considered the planetary mandates. They still roared like carnival barkers in her ears, but a new note crept in. Warning klaxons, crimson arcs across Mars. "Fine," she said, striking lines until only vanilla platitudes remained. That afternoon, the Crescent Dune surveillance chief, Mark Yoon, sifted through shoe after shoe of video, spirals of digits looking for anomalies. She'd spent a decade in gaming control enforcement before switching to casino security, and patterns thrilled her more than money. The horoscope phenomena nagged. She saw players cluster, hands pause, bets jump in unison, all aligned with the newspaper. A cluster that followed cosmic advice netted improbable edges. Yet the real curiosity was the dealers. 3 particular employees stood out: Bryce, Dee, and Marco. Their shoes ran high in 10s, low in 6s, a classic card counter's heaven. Suspicion flashed. She pressed a button. "Get me HR files on these 3 and pit reports for the last 4 months." Marta had no clue about the redacted horoscope. She only sensed rot. But rot spreads. Maria drove home after sunset, grateful Mrs. Caldwell loaned the Buick again. The desert darkened to violet. 20 minutes from her trailer, headlights blazed behind her, brights on full. She squinted in the rear view. The pickup tailgated, so close she tasted exhaust. The road narrowed, a single lane flanked by Joshua trees. She sped up. The truck matched. Then its engine rumbled, and the driver began nudging her bumper. Okay, she said aloud, heart jackhammering. She tapped her brakes, risky but reflex. The truck swerved, side-countered, then rocketed ahead, pulling in front so sharply she nearly clipped its tailgate. It slowed. Maria slammed brakes, tires screaming, gravel sprayed. The Buick skidded to a stop inches from the truck's hitch. 2 men jumped out, one burly with shaved head, Marco, the other thin woman with platinum pixie cut. "Dee!" Shadows concealed their features. Maria locked her doors. They approached, motioning for her to roll down her window. She shook her head. Dee wrapped the glass with something metallic. A star-shaped crack spidered instantly. "Open up, Stargazer!" Dee barked. "We need a reading." Maria's pulse pounded. Behind them, emptiness and stars. She fumbled her phone. No bars. Classic desert dead zone. She thought of Tia Karina's voice. "When planets corner you, remember they also map the escape." She inhaled, sank into an odd calm and switched the ignition. The Buick coughed but held. Dee and Marco noticed, lunged back. Maria rammed the shifter to reverse, tires spinning. The Buick fishtailed, dust clouding. She whipped around the truck, heart in throat, and floored it back toward town. They didn't chase. Maybe surprised, maybe satisfied. Message delivered. She didn't stop until she reached a chevron along Highway 160, buzzing with fluorescent lights. Inside, she collapsed against a snack rack between jerky and corn nuts and sobbed. The next morning, she walked into the Nye County Sheriff's substation with photos of the truck snapped hastily through her cracked windshield and a shaky statement. Deputy Olivetti noted plates partially obscured by mud. "Could be intimidation," he agreed. "Any enemies?" "I read star charts. Plenty swear by them, plenty call them bunk. These people weren't skeptics," she said. He promised patrols, but resource constraints were real. Maria left unconvinced. She considered quitting the column, but the universe didn't grant permission. Night after night, the planetary choir crescendoed, charts showing crimson Martian angles slicing her own natal moon. Parody if she retreated. The message seemed paradoxical: keep writing or risk worse. So she wrote. Yet, instead of predicting lucky numbers, she embedded riddles, allusions to masked hyenas counting spoons, dealers of mirrored fate, a scorpion with 5 hearts. Anyone paying attention could infer shady croupiers, not magic stars. She sent the piece, triple encrypted, to Ed. This time the dispatcher's server held. Thursday's edition hit cafes, gas stations, the break room of the Crescent Dune. Marthian read it while babysitting a malfunctioning roulette eye. A line under Scorpio snagged her. "Beware the dealer who shuffles truth in clumps of 3. The jackal he serves has 4 faces and counts each beat of your trusting heart." Martha sat back. Clumps of 3. Exactly the false shuffle pattern she'd glimpsed in Marco's tape. 4 faces? Bryce, Dee, Marco, and maybe an unseen 4th coordinator. Her stomach flipped. She dialed an old colleague still inside the Nevada Gaming Control Board. Friday evening, gaming control inspectors arrived unannounced at the Silver Comet. Within hours they found doctored discard trays, marked chips, code signals. Marco was collared mid-show. Dee fled but was grabbed near the buffet. Bryce sang for a deal. They had skimmed nearly $200,000 over 18 months, funneling the haul through out-of-state pals. A bartender, a pit supervisor, and a silent investor in mesquite formed the rest of the jackal's faces. News trucks descended. The dispatch splashed the bust across page 1. Deals busted in card-counting ring. In the sidebar, Ed credited astute observation by security personnel and subtle tips embedded in our own Desert Skies column. Maria read the article repeatedly, hands trembling. Relief washed through her until she spotted the photo of Dee being shoved into a cruiser, eyes icy with vengeance. The caption misprinted her last name as Dean. A tiny error. But stars thrive on tiny errors. That night Mrs. Caldwell's Buick vanished. Maria couldn't prove theft. Maybe Caldwell's grandson borrowed it. But dread rerouted, and the planets, strangely, fell silent. 2 weeks later, the quiet remained. Maria woke uneasy at 3:33 a.m. Air stale. Without thinking, she stepped outside onto the cool sand. The desert sky glittered indifferent, but a shape moved near her telescope shed. A silhouette, tall, broad-shouldered, holding something. Maria's breath frosted. "Who's there?" The shape froze, then clicked on a flashlight. It was Bryce, looking thinner, bruised, jacket draped awkwardly. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said quickly. "I owe you thanks." She kept distance. "You were arrested." I took a plea, cooperation. They cut me loose until sentencing. He raised both hands. Look, I brought this. He set a cardboard box on the ground and backed away. Evidence. Dealer logs, marked cards. I printed chat screenshots too. Why bring them to me? Because the ring isn't dead. Marco had insurance. Files, leverage. Someone higher up. They'll come after the person who toppled them. You. Her ribcage tightened. I thought gaming control. Won a battle, not the war. He rubbed eyes. You weren't the first to see patterns. Others tried whistleblowing. They vanished. But you have something they can't intimidate. An audience. Keep writing. Shine light, or they'll slither back. She stared at the box, at Bryce's haunted face. The man who once tailgated her now pleaded. She nodded slowly. He exhaled, walked off into moth-lit darkness. Mariah lugged the box indoors. Inside lay decks, with minuscule nail nicks, pit schedules, a notebook containing payoff splits, and a flash drive. She booted her laptop, scanned the drive. Folders of spreadsheets, chat transcripts, bank transfers, and a memo. Target Veja. A timeline of her routines. Surveillance photos of her at the grocery, at the post office. Last line. Silence within 30 days. Bonus clears. Her stomach iced. 30 days from when? She checked file metadata. Created exactly 29 days earlier. She dialed Deputy Olivetti, but the connection crackled, then died. She tried again. Voicemail. Cell service out? Or jammed? Heart pounding, she grabbed her keys, then remembered her car, still inert. Panic coiled. Mrs. Caldwell's Buick gone. Desert round, neighbors far. She could barricade and hope, or move. Tia Karina's voice again. When planets corner you, draw a new chart. Maria snatched blank paper, sketched her horoscope for that very minute. Ascendant Cancer, Moon conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, Mars on IC. A pattern resembling a square within a circle, a sigil of fortification. She improvised. Overlay the symbol onto her floor plan, aligning corners with entry points. Place objects, stones, metal bowls, at nodal degrees. She worked feverishly, planting quartz at windowsills, copper bracelets over doorknobs, salt lines across thresholds. Not magic, maybe, but intent can stiffen a spine. Mid-ritual she heard tires on gravel. Headlights fluttered through blinds, sweeping. She froze behind the couch. A door slammed. Footsteps crunched, voices low. A metallic click, crowbar against frame. The front door shuddered once. Twice. Hinges shrieked. Maria clutched her phone, still no signal. She scanned for escape. Then something tumbled inside. A smoke canister hissed, spewing chemical fog. Out. Someone barked, coughing. Dee's voice. Maria dropped to knees, crawled beneath fumes toward the back door. She yanked it. It stuck. She remembered. Copper bracelets on knobs might heat under conduction. She jerked her sleeve, twisted. The door gave. Outside, moonlight silvered the sand. She sprinted toward the Joshua trees. Behind, Dee cursed, emerging, pistol in hand. Another figure flanked her. A burly man, not Marco, maybe the silent investor. "I'll see you, Stargazer!" Dee shouted. Shots cracked. Plumes of dust near Maria's feet. She zigzagged, reached a dry wash, ducked behind a boulder. Her lungs burned. She needed help. She pulled phone. One flicker of service. She dialed 911. Ring. Ring. Connected. "This is Maria Vega shooting, Highway 178, mile marker 12. Gunfire sparked rock chips. She flinched, ball-hung. Dee's footsteps slid closer. "Quit hiding. We just want the evidence." Maria's mind raced. Evidence. The box. She'd left it inside, except the flash drive now in her pocket. She drew a breath. "You destroy me, files go public," she shouted. "I have a dead man email set." Lies, but plausible. Silence. Then the other voice. bluff. She stood carefully, moon behind her, flash drive raised like talisman. The stars already told me how this ends. She infused words with raw conviction. Walk away or be exposed. Dee aimed, the partner hissed. We can't risk noise. Cops en route. How do you know? Dee spat. Look. He gestured to distant highway. Faint sirens now bloomed, red-blue petals growing. Deputy Olivetti's cruiser barreled off asphalt, lights screaming, another behind him. Dee cursed. They retreated to their truck, engine snarling, gravel spraying past Maria's crouched form. Police chased, fishtail dust devils across starlight. Olivetti braked near her. You all right? She managed a nod, trembling. The aftermath unfurled like slow sunrise. The truck crashed 3 miles out. Dee was arrested, partner injured. Surveillance from Maria's trailer plus files from the flash drive linked them to a broader laundering network. Gaming control and federal agents dove in. Marco, already in custody, flipped. The silent investor, a mesquite restaurant magnate, faced racketeering charges. Maria's trailer reeked of smoke. Door splintered, but her telescope remained unscathed under the indifferent sweep of constellations. Ed offered to run her story atop the Sunday edition, this time front page. Astrologers' stars expose casino syndicates. She wrote it, weaving not prophecy but perseverance, evidence, and a caution that patterns live in everything, cars and cosmos alike, waiting for honest eyes. She ended the article, when the sky writes a message, I've learned, it does not care whether you say you believe, it only cares whether you listen. Readers gobbled it. Her subscription numbers tripled. A Vegas radio show invited her weekly. A podcast asked for the saga. She accepted some, declined most. The attention felt odd, like a too bright casino floor after long dark adaptation. Months later, under a mellow Perseid meteor shower, Maria sat again on her trailer roof with a mug of peppermint tea. The desert stretched silent, broken only by distant coyote yips. The box of evidence was now sealed in a federal vault. Bryce awaited sentencing but wrote Maria letters expressing gratitude and regret. The dispatch gave her a raise. She closed her eyes, letting meteors etch white stitches across her lids, and whispered, Thank you. Not to Jupiter, not to any single planet, but to the whole cosmic tapestry that, when read with care, guided her through fear toward truth. Off in the direction of Las Vegas, neon shimmered faintly, another constellation built by human hands. Luck still spun, dice still tumbled, but somewhere in those humming halls, a dealer might glance at the ceiling, remembering that the stars and the people who read them are watching.